The USAF is looking to increase its tanker fleet to expand the nonstop range of its fighter and bomber aircraft. The pressing requirement is that the USAF needs to have these tankers to enable a large number of aircraft to fly across the Pacific Ocean in case conflict with China breaks out. Currently, it's short on this since Boeing KC-46A Pegasus has many lingering problems, like issues with the refueling boom camera. KC-46 Pegasus is developed by Boeing from its 767 jet airliner, and the tanker was selected by the United States Air Force as the winner of the KC-X tanker competition to replace older Boeing KC-135 Stratotankers. These problems are unlikely to get sorted out before 2023, and hence the USAF is looking for some stopgap arrangement. The USAF is planning to engage private contracting service for this, and several firms have already expressed interest. Germany is getting close to finalizing a deal to acquire new fighters. It will most likely go for a split purchase of Eurofighter Typhoons and Boeing FA-18E and F Super Hornets and EA-18G Growlers to replace its aging fleet of Panavia Tornado swing-wing combat jets. The reason for acquiring Boeing FA-18E and F Super Hornets is that, as a NATO partner, the German Air Force needs to have an aircraft that could deliver American nuclear gravity bombs. This is much easier with Super Hornets when compared to Typhoons, as the integration and certification are less complex. Under the proposal, Germany could purchase a total of up to 90 Typhoons and 30 FA-18E&Fs and 15 EA-18Gs in the coming years. The deal is yet to be finalized, and German Defense Minister Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer has not formally approved it yet. This video is sponsored by the free-to-play military vehicle combat game War Thunder. We talk a lot about military vehicles on this channel, but what about trying them out for yourself? In War Thunder, you can choose from more than 1,200 playable vehicles from the 1930s to the 1990s and go to battle on more than 80 theaters of war. You can fly aircraft, helicopters, drive tanks, and command ships of all types and sizes, which have been carefully recreated from their real-world counterparts. It's available as a free download on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. So grab your friends and give it a try. All viewers of Defense Updates that register using the link in the description below will also get a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship and 3 days of premium account time as a bonus. The U.S. Army has chosen Bell's Invictus and Sikorsky's Raider X as the two prototype designs that will compete against each other under its Future Attack Reconnaissance Aircraft Program, or FARA. The Army's Future Vertical Lift Cross-Functional Team, which is managing FARA, made an announcement that it's picked Bell and Sikorsky to proceed to the competitive prototype phase of the program. The winner will fill a gap in its aviation capabilities left by the earlier retirement of its OH-58D Kiowa Warrior Scout helicopters. The helicopters could eventually replace nearly half of its AH-64 Apache attack helicopters as it matures and is optimized. It's important to note that the U.S. Army is parallelly working on several components to add capabilities to the helicopter, like new long-range precision munition (LRPM), as well as integrated missile launcher (IML) to launch both the missile and the drones. The Blue 129 bomb is turning out to be a favorite for the U.S. Air Force, and there is increased operational demand. Captain Hope Cronin, Air Force spokeswoman, told Warrior Maven, "The Air Force is currently producing Blue 129 bomb bodies to address operational demand. The Blue 129 is increasingly in since it's accurate, and the user can quickly configure its explosive charge depending on the threat, using what's called variable yield effects. Variable yield effects allow for attackers to adjust the explosive power while in flight. This enables a single bomb to be used for a general strike, as well as to be used in situations where a low blast radius is required to reduce the chances of collateral damage. Another such weapon is the new freefall nuke, B-6112, which can limit the extent of the nuclear reaction inside the warhead to lower the explosive force. The Russian Ministry of Defense has released a video that has several clips of its pre-production Su-57s, including a previously unseen instance of one of the aircraft firing an air-to-air missile. The video, titled "Beyond the Laws of Physics, the Russian ASF Aerospace Forces pilots have fully mastered Su-57 fighters," was posted on the Russian Ministry of Defense's official YouTube channel. The Sukhoi Su-57 is a fifth-generation, stealthy, single-seat, twin-engine jet multi-role fighter aircraft designed for air superiority and ground attack operations. It's the successor of Su-35 and Russia's answer to American F-35 Lightning II and F-22 Raptor. Though not fully clear, the video seems to show Russia's most advanced fighter jet firing a missile from one of its two small wing root weapons bays. The Su-57 in the video fires what appears to be a short-range R-74 K-74 series missile. Stealthy fighters need to carry weapons internally so that the aircraft remains low observable to radars. The U.S. Navy's latest class of supercarrier, the Ford class, has been in the news for several hiccups in its development, like the issue with its email or electromagnetic aircraft launch system. But this is literally shit. Reports by Government Accountability Office (GAO), a congressional watchdog, indicates that the toilets and sewage systems in the USS Ford are clogging on an unexpected and frequent basis. The issue seems to be due to an inherent problem in the overall system's design. This has resulted in maintenance personnel having to routinely flush the entire thing with an acid wash. But what's really bad news is that this process of maintenance is very expensive. How expensive? $400,000 each time. This kind of problem would eventually lead to higher operating cost of the supercarrier, whose development cost is already one of the highest for any weapons platform in the world. Japan is planning to deploy much less expensive but still highly capable conventional submarines to counter China. Viewers may note that in June 2019, submarine manufacturer Mitsubishi Heavy Industries hosted a presentation, subsequently shared on Twitter, revealing plans for Japan's next-generation submarine, dubbed the 29SS, or new 3,000 metric ton submarine. Reports indicate that the 29SS will begin development in 2025 to 2028 and is targeted for entry into service in 2031. The lead ship is estimated to cost 76 billion yen, which is about $710 million, and will likely serve primarily for testing and development purposes. The Japanese Maritime Defense Force, JMSDF, is looking to increase its submarine fleet to 22 operational diesel and AIP-powered submarines, with 1 testing and 2 training submarines. The idea is to have a credible deterrence against an ever-growing Chinese fleet of about 70 subs, which not only includes conventional ones, but also nuclear-powered attack and ballistic missile submarines. The Chinese military should consider using non-lethal lasers on U.S. Navy warships to discourage their transits through the South China Sea, a military commentator has stated in a Chinese daily. Chinese military expert Song Zhongping told Global Times that the use of electromagnetic weapons, such as low-energy laser devices, could send a strong warning by temporarily paralyzing weapon and control systems on U.S. ships, all done without visible conflict. It's important to note that media in China is state-controlled, and it's especially true for Global Times, which is often referred to as a mouthpiece for the Chinese government. The assertion comes just days after U.S. Navy and Marine units arrived in the South China Sea for expeditionary strike force drills. Viewers may note that Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group, America Expeditionary Strike Group, and 31st Marine Expeditionary Strike Group are participating in the 4-day exercise. China asserts sovereignty over most of the South China Sea, a claim disputed by other countries, such as Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.